mom and dad bringing them to school, to riding the short bus, to riding the route buses, to driving mom and dad's car, and then having their own. They've seen a new addition at the high school. They've seen change in our sports conference. They've got a new Wolves logo, along with new students and teachers. And I hope these changes will help them with the changes in the rest of their life. Now I'll ask you to continue to support this class as they journey through their life. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us for commencement today. Today, the class of 2020 finally graduates. I know this day has been long awaited by many of us, and I'm glad that we're finally here. We have been through so much together over the last 12 years, and I'm so grateful that I got to spend them with this class. In the fall of 2007, we began kindergarten with Mrs. Rush and Mrs. Bruns. We had lots of fun learning about the letter people and learning in the different centers in class. I think our favorite memory from kindergarten was when Mrs. Rush suggested that Abdullah stand up and teach the class, and then he actually did it. Elementary school was somewhat of a blur. In first grade, we learned how to read and write, and we learned that Mr. Popkin and Ricky really didn't get along. In second grade, we learned about insects and learned the head, thorax, abdomen song. We also got to participate in Star of the Week. In third grade, we learned cursive and started getting good at time tests. In fourth grade, we learned about the states and their capitals, and we got to go on the Des Moines trip. We also got Red Rover banned that year because people kept getting hurt, and I distinctly remember getting clotheslined that year. Fifth grade, we were finally top dogs. We started to figure out who our friends were, and while that did create some differences, we still had some good times. Like when Ethan pulled the string off of Mr. Bout's butt, sometimes getting to play Deal or No Deal. And to this day, we still debate on why we got our backroom privileges taken away, and I can tell all of you that it had nothing to do with Adrian and I. Then came sixth grade and middle school. We were back at the bottom. We were the last sixth graders who got to experience Mr. Inertia and Mr. Nelson. We got to participate in sports, and we still had to participate in choir, but that was okay because we all know that we're Mrs. Groove's favorites. We had our fair share of disagreements as a class during middle school, but we all joke about it now. I think that our craziness is what scared away many of the new kids that joined our class, but it definitely brought those of us who made it today much closer. Although I don't think I'd say we've grown up yet, we have grown a lot together in many different ways. I'm so sad that our time together was cut short, and now that it's time for us to go our separate ways, I just want to say thank you to the class of 2020 for making so many great memories. I wish all of you the best of luck on your future endeavors. Thank you to all of the teachers, community members, parents, everyone else for putting up with us and for helping us along the way. Congrats, guys, we did it.
Hello everyone, thank you all for coming. It's great to see all of the people who love and support us gathered here today. It's crazy to think about everything that has happened over the last few years. Back in the fall of 2016 is when we all began our high school careers. It was different and new and exciting. We had all this new freedom. We could pick and choose our own classes, and each one of us could start to pursue what it is that we enjoy. We could participate in a whole array of different activities and sports and extracurriculars. We weren't limited to just our own class, and we started to branch out and become our own people. And along with having more freedom, we also learned that we had more responsibilities. We were high schoolers now, after all, so that meant more homework and more difficult classes. Our teachers, of course, helped us along the way and gave us their full support to help us succeed. Some of the highlights from our freshman year were participating in all of the fun homecoming games. Dressing up and competing against the other classes for bragging rights was one of the best parts of September. Julian, Peyton, Isaac, Edgar, and I were part of a football team that went to the state championship for the first time in school history. Also, Kylan, Marianne, Mackenzie, Lexi, and Ricky Shear were a part of a very successful volleyball team. And we could also sing and perform with Mrs. Grieve if you chose to. You could have seen our production of how to succeed in business without really trying. And after that, I'm not sure what the point of school was anymore. It's too early. We had a lot of options on what we could do. If you didn't really go for sports or performing, you could do speech or become a member of the FFA chapter. There's so much for us to do. The next year was more of the same. We were still getting accustomed to high school life, but we weren't on the bottom anymore, and we were better prepared. Being more prepared doesn't always mean you're in the clear, though. There's one particular career trip to Iowa Lakes where some of our classmates were almost left behind. Julian and Taylor just wanted to learn so much that they decided to go explore the building while the rest of us were getting ready to leave. Thank goodness for head counts. And then there was the last day of school, which was another play that was performed in November. Another bright spot from sophomore year was watching one of our own represent us at state track, Edgar Tapia. We're very proud of you. We loved supporting Edgar by watching him run his races at Drake and Des Moines. And then another summer went by and we were juniors, upperclassmen, real cream of the crop. We welcomed our new principal, Mr. Heemstra, and that year was more of a busy year for us. From day one, we were already planning for our prom, what we wanted to do and how we were going to raise money. A big part of that was selling pizzas and working at the concession stands. Then we decided on what we wanted the theme to be, a night of 1,000 lights. There were a lot of lights, and we even had a chandelier. So we got to work on building that magnificent scene. And also, the production that year was The Addams Family, if you chose to see that. But some things changed in our second semester of our junior year. We each got our own personal Chromebooks. And again, we watched Edgar run and place at state track for the second year in a row. And we also got to witness our golf team, led by Isaac and Adrian, go undefeated and bring our school its first state title. And another summer went by, and it had finally arrived, our senior year. This was it. Our year where we were everything. It was all about us. And it was a strong start, too. We were all finishing up our classes, enjoying our last go of football, volleyball, basketball, cheer, dance team, speech, or choir, or whatever it was that you enjoyed doing. The last show we could have been a part of was Clue. And we knew this was our last year, and so we knew we wanted to make the most of it. But not everything works out, obviously. Everyone always told us to enjoy high school because it would be over before we knew, and I had no idea how true that was. One day, we're elated because, hey, we have a week off of school, and then the next day, we're told school's over. Just like that. But that's why we're here today on June 28th. We're making the best of the situation that we're in, and that's what we have to continue to keep doing in the future. We can't stay stuck dwelling on what will, won't, or didn't happen. We have to keep moving forward, making the best of whatever we have because, in the words of Bill Keane, yesterday is the past, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. And that's why it's called the present. And presents are pretty cool.
Good afternoon. My name is Greg Heemstra, principal at Harris Lake Park High School. And at this time, I have the privilege to recognize our honor students. The following students have achieved a cumulative GPA of 3 or higher over their high school careers. Their honors are presented by Superintendent Andy Irwin. Abdullah El-Baitri. Kylan Forbes. Mackenzie Hykins. Our next honor student, Isaac Einen. And our next honor student, Adrian Martin. And our next honor student, Marianne Nebelsick. Our next honor student, Jaden Reeder. Our next honor student, Alexis Staley. our final honor student for the class of 2020, Caitlin Visketchel. Our next honors are that of salutatorian and valedictorian. The class of 2020, salutatorian Abdullah El Baitri. And the class of 2020, valedictorian Mackenzie Hykins. So at this time, I would also like to read through our senior awards. Due to the school closure, we were unable to have a typical awards night. And although we did a virtual award ceremony with the monetary scholarships, we still want to take some time to read through these awards. These students earned over $30,000 in local and area scholarships that were presented to these students through their hard work. So please hold your applause till all the awards are read through by myself and Superintendent Mr. Irwin.
The American Legion Citizenship Award goes to Abdullah El Baitri. American Legion Auxiliary Citizenship Award and Scholarship goes to Kylan Forbes. Iowa State Bar Association Citizenship
Students, please approach the Edgar Espinoza Tapia. Caitlin Rose Viscetchel.
They can't help you so quickly. They're not there to react so quickly. But just remember, communicate with them. They're there to help you. They've helped you this far. They'll help you again. Some things are going to be painful. Some things you just need to laugh at. But please understand, you will make mistakes. Try very hard to learn from those mistakes so that you don't make the same ones again. I know that was a long one. Here's number 4. Plans. Some of you may have a plan all laid out as to how you think life will go. Thank you for reading those earlier, Mackenzie, what everybody plans on doing in life. Just know that some of you, by the time this fall rolls around, plans will have already changed. I applaud you for setting goals and having dreams. But as I just said, please remember, plans will change. 6 months ago, not one person here would have thought that today would be going down the way it is, that we'd be out in a football field. So plans change. Things happen to life and us every day that will change your plans. As humans, not all of us are comfortable with plans not going our way. But please adapt and roll with the changes. Don't worry, I'm about done. As you move forward after graduation to bigger and better things, please keep in mind where you've come from. You spent the first part of your life as a Harris Lake Park student. Be very, very proud of that fact, that you've been raised in a community that values education, fine arts, and sports. You, the students, are what's made the school what it is today. A place to learn and fun. Be proud that you're from Harris, Lake Park, Sioux Valley, Milford, Round Lake. I put 3 exclamation points behind that, so that's really important, okay? Be proud of where you're from. Next year, you'll come back to watch games or concerts, but as time passes, there will become less and less that you visit home. Life will become busy, you will make new friends, and some may choose to move far away. Please remember that you're always welcome back. Please say hi to the old people like me because it makes us feel important, okay? Okay. In conclusion, Yeah, I know, you're all breathing a sigh of relief. I want to share with you something that speaks to me and should speak to you also. My wife bought a t-shirt for me that says home on the front. I moved away from Lake Park for almost 30 years. I came back home and my wife gave me this t-shirt that says home across the front. Big capital letters. And on the back it says, once a wolf, always a wolf. Please, always be a leader of the wolf pack. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Thank you.